Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Today is 17th July. So this is the very first podcast that I'll personally do with a very good friend of mine, Wesley Chan. A sales breakthrough coach that I've known for many years, and together we are going to share with you certain discussions on this podcast about sales breakthrough under this program called BINA. So before we start off, I would like to share what BINA is about, right? So BINA has been started since last year, together with some of our corporate partners in helping to rebuild the SME's future together. And when we started this idea, we were actually very hopeful of what's going on and what's going to happen in 2021. We were very confident. We will get over this. But unfortunately, when we are doing this podcast today in July, middle of 2021, we are still, more than 10,000 cases per day. But it's quite fortunate that the vaccination rate is going very high, and I hope that by the time our audience get to view this podcast, things will become even better. So anyway, Wesley, thanks for doing this with me. It's a very long time since we actually spoke together again. And you and I have become very good friends, and we have been very close touch. I've seen your work over this period of time. But for the benefit of our audience and whoever that is going to listen to this podcast in the future, maybe allow yourself to introduce, what do you do, what do you actually do, and most probably you can share with us of your experience over the past years. Since day one as a trainer and until today, how have you changed over the years as well? Maybe over to you, Wesley.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on this show. And indeed, when I first received the invitation, I was very honored. And I was like, okay, so since there's a chance to help our fellow friends out there, it's indeed my honor. So for those of you watching, my name is Wesley, and I'm a sales breakthrough coach, and very grateful to be a 3-time TEDx speaker. And I have been in this industry for the past 10 years, and very fortunate to have trained more than 150,000 people across 20 cities in Asia Pacific. Area of expertise, or I would say the area that I'm very passionate in sales, persuasion, and influence. Where just now when Lawrence mentioned, share with us from day one till now. All right. So when I first started training many years ago, I was in the area of motivation, and I moved on to NLP, which is in short about human habits and human behavior. And a couple of years ago, it was 4 or 5 years ago, and I thought, okay, why not? I should go into something that I'm really passionate in, which is on sales. Because I was in sales back then, I was selling online education program, I was selling educational seminar, and moving into sales training is because back then I was an internal sales trainer and sales speaker. So coming to the sales scene was something which is, hey, I'm back. Those kind of feel, right? So, and interesting enough, like what Lawrence had mentioned, 2020, I begin the year 2020, thinking that it will be my best year ever. I got married that time. And seeing my record for the first quarter of 2020, it's like, okay, I'm set to go. And 18th of March 2020, Malaysia announced lockdown, and I was equally confused, lost, and also panicked. Fortunately, the word pivot has been overly used, but this word has been very close to my heart. Very honored that I managed to pivot during that time. And it took a very huge turn from scheduling all my businesses. I got my training lined up until July and September 2020 initially. When the lockdown came, it got wiped off. It got a bit to virtual. From having no business, I was very fortunate. We bounced back as a team. In the year 2020, we had a 40% increase in revenue compared to 2019. And as of now, 2020 in July, as we speak, we have already equal record in 2020. And I must say it's all thanks to the team partners like Perini School of Life and all these partners that we have all been helping each other. I'm really grateful for that. Now, one of the things I really want to share is this. Of course, we talk about pivot, but in the area of sales and marketing, virtual selling is no longer an option, but it's a necessity. And the reason why we say so, I think it's not just in Malaysia, where it's a global, or even Asia Pacific, the scene where people can't just go out freely like last time. So it's the ability on how the salesperson itself will be able to leverage technology on new skills in doing virtual selling, or people call it remote selling. How can me, you, everybody sell from the comfort of our home? I'm passionate about, and because of that, this topic has been something I'm speaking very, very widely in this year itself.
Very, 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 very interesting, and congratulations, Wesley. Well done. Looking at you were just halfway there, and you already achieved some of your KPIs and some of your plans ahead. That's very well done, and in a very difficult period. But can you enlighten us? Who are some actually of your people that you train? I mean, where are they from? Are they from the SMEs, or are they individuals, or who are your target groups?
All right. So my target group is actually from the corporate, where most of my work that I revolve, where I train sales team. So when we say sales team, I normally train the salespeople itself, either the sales executive, the sales manager, key account, channel managers. So I normally train these salespeople. So why is it so? Because I train these people so that they can equip themselves with virtual selling strategy product, their services from the comfort of their branch, their home, or from their office. Interesting enough, throughout these past few months, I have clients from the insurance industry, from telco industry, from internet industry, even from manufacturing industry. Because we used to think that, okay, virtual selling, perhaps the technology industry would need that. In fact, no. Every single business, if you ask me out there, would need virtual selling right now, because if there's no sales, there's no revenue, we need to still pay for our rent and all our utilities, right? So back to the question that you asked me, I mainly work with the corporates, organizations. I used to run public classes, but I don't right now. I mainly do a lot of work with the corporates in terms of helping their salespeople to equip them with remote selling strategies.
All right, so this is very good, very vast group of people, but are they only the corporates people that? Before we go to that question, I have one question that I really want to ask this. How do you define sales breakthrough?
All right. So how do you came up with first the name, right? The story behind it's sales breakthrough. Some of you might think it's quite a cliche name in training, right? Breakthrough. Everybody uses breakthrough, transformation, evolution. So for me, I have a story behind. So the reason why is it called a breakthrough is because I always believe in this concept called the cycle of breakthrough, or I call it donut of success. Why is it donut? I don't know, right? I learned it from somewhere. So for us to evolve, there are 4 stages that we need to take note of. From comfort, and once we come out from the comfort zone, we move to panic. Once we come out from the panic zone, we move to breakthrough. And once we move to breakthrough, we go to success. So it's comfort, panic, breakthrough, and also to success. And the reason why I share this behind is because now a lot of people say, okay, Wesley, let's start up from the comfort zone and let's go and embrace virtual selling. And a lot of people will fall into the trap of being into the comfort zone, because it's not. When you do something you've never done before, you feel panic and you feel fearful. Now, the reason why I call sales breakthrough is because I could facilitate. And my job here is to facilitate salespeople to move them from the panic to the breakthrough zone. So what's a breakthrough zone? A breakthrough zone is when they do things they've never done before. They challenge themselves, they make their first attempt. And once they're able to do it, oh my God, Wesley, it could be done. All right. So my job is to facilitate them from panic to breakthrough, so that when they repeat breakthroughs after breakthroughs after breakthroughs, then they become more successful in their sales. So hence, the story of sales breakthrough is about helping them to embrace in a new concept in virtual selling, new concept of remote selling. They do things they've never done before, or they challenge their new norm, their status quo in calls, presentation, live shows, or doing videos. And when they can finally do this in that workshop, they have breakthrough. Hence, it's called sales breakthrough.
That's a very, very good phrase that you have shared out, on identifying breakthroughs and etc. But before we go to the breakthrough part, which I'm very interested to know as well, I want to go back a little bit. There are a lot of people out there that actually, let's say they applied for sales job, they not knowing or not knowing that actually are they suitable, right, over doing this kind of job for sales and business development. So before they have breakthrough, I don't know, this is my personal opinion, they should identify first whether are they, what are some of the qualities, what are some of the things that they should have, and etc. Of course, certain things can be trained, but maybe for the benefit of our audience, you want to share with us, how do we actually identify, are we actually suitable for the role?
Right. That's a very interesting question. And that is like $1 million question in recruitment, right? Because one of the main challenges in sales. So when we talk about sales, sales is not just about selling. Sales, you got CRM, you got team management, sales leadership, recruitment, coaching. So one of the things that is always be $1 million question in sales recruitment. How do I find the right talent? And how do I know whether the person is fit for the job or not? Now, there are some profiling tools out there that we use, to check on people's So there are a few things that we check. What is their selling styles? Some people are just more results driven. Some people are just more friendship driven. Some people are just more optimistic. Some people are just more information driven. There are some analytics about that, right? So, but the key thing is to look at number one, what is your selling style? Number two, your selling competency, which means in terms of your agility, your presentation, the ability to persuade people, handle objection, these are competency. And the third thing that we look at is your motivational drivers. So what drives you in your career? Okay, Wesley, all these are very high level stuff. Can you layman term? Now, in very layman term, how do you know you're up for a sales job? To me, whether you believe in the product or not. To me, just boil down to one thing, whether you believe in the product. Because if you ask me, everybody is doing sales every single day. When you present your proposals to your boss, you are selling an idea. When you talk to your neighbor about how good that the food that you have for lunch, you are also selling, right? It's whether you sell it for a value or a commission. If you ask me, everybody is selling. The main key criteria as a salesperson is whether you believe in the product or not. Because if you believe in your product, you believe that the product could help people, you believe that the fundamentals, the benefit is good for the end users, then I think you're good to sales. All right. So I don't believe in the notion that I think I'm not fit for the job, I'm not good in selling. No. I think it's whether are you passionate about your product? Do you believe in the benefit? Think that you could potentially help people out there? And the answer is yes. I think it's good to go.
So that boils down to a very simple question: are sales leaders are born, or sales leaders are trained?
They are trained. They are absolutely trained. Because if you ask me, okay, one of the things that a lot of people, we have personality tests. You can find out people, are they dominant or not. Now, all boils down to style. What I mean by style is a natural approach to any given situation. A very typical one. Wesley, I'm an introverted, I'm not up for sales. And I totally disagree with that. The reason why, because even though you're introverted, you still do sales. Either you front end sales, pounding the calls every day, or you back end, we call inside sales, doing the proposal. It is not whether you're introverted or extrovert. So the question is, if you are introverted, what style would work for you? If you're extroverted, what style will work for you? So if you ask me, these are all just natural tendencies. These are all just styles. Every different style, you have your own uniqueness. If you're very extroverted, you're very good at opening opportunities. If you're very introverted, you're good in you're good in farming the cases. So if you ask me, number one is to first identify your natural tendency. From there, you leverage on your advantage, fix on your weaknesses. Now, one of the things I'm going to share with people is this: all strengths in extreme are weaknesses. All strengths in extreme are weaknesses. If you're very persistent, that is good. But if you're overly persistent towards your customer, you become pushy.
Yes.
Right? If you're persuasive, it's good. But you're overly persuasive, people feel that, hey, this guy could be more promising. So back to the thing is this: your natural tendency is very important. So if you ask me, it is all made. Train, made. Knowing that and knowing what to improve.
So in total, how many years have you been in this training industry, Wesley?
10 years.
10 years. So I'm sure 10 years, a lot have changed, right? I mean, not only just about people, but even the environment, the technology. 10 years ago, maybe Facebook is still just about there, and then now it's you have so many other platforms. So how do you see changes in people, especially on sales people that you have trained over the past, from first year until today, the 10th year? How do you see people are different today?
As in the salespeople or the customers?
The salespeople.
Okay. So when I first learned
do they get what I mean is, do they get younger and younger? I mean, or salespeople are just, is there a specific age group or a specific, last 10 years ago, salespeople are very, like you say, go on the stage, nowadays it could be something else. Maybe you want to share with us over the past 10 years. I'm sure you write your own modules, right? This is what I know. You have your own modules. Tell us about it. How have things changed in salespeople over the past 10 years?
All right, I still remember back then I was learning sales. I remember I learned sales from my mentor. His name is Dinesh Kumar. In case you're watching this, right, really want to thank him, right? So what happened was, I remember when I first learned sales, and I was learning cold call, I was learning sales presentation, we learned body language, we learned how to sell from the stage, we learned how to groom ourselves. Very good skills that I've learned over time. And if you ask applicable now, yes and no, because things have totally changed. Things have totally changed. Back in those days, having a Facebook is like, wow, It's something new, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't called as Facebook ads back then. No such thing as Facebook Live. I think LinkedIn. I don't know what was LinkedIn back then.
Yes.
So the whole scene has changed. One dramatic change about salespeople is technology. Back then, it's all very reliant on the skill set of the salesperson. If you are very skillful in doing call presentation, you have an advantage. But right now, it's totally different. Skill is good, but if you are very savvy in technology, you have an advantage. So that is the reason why right now, when we train salespeople, these fantastic salespeople, 10, 20 years in the industry, and they've been selling top sales. CEO came in, their question is, Wesley, I can present, but I'm not comfortable in front of Zoom, which is very unfortunate to see that they have skills, but they're not savvy technologically. So the vast biggest difference that I see when technology came and just sweep, right? And so the biggest difference is a lot of very experienced people couldn't adapt. They're not up to the trend, or they're not able to adapt when technology kicks in.
So I think technology has played a different role in our life, and it has definitely changed us. I've never used Shopee in my life, but now School of Life and Cravings are having selling products on Shopee. Now I force myself to have an account with Shopee, and now I also start using Shopee. But this is something that I'm very interested to ask for our friends to know as well, right? You gave training, I'm sure now both physical and both online, right? Virtual. So how do you see the impact of your training, physically, okay, where they can feel your energy, they can see your movements, you were jumping around, because I remember you did that. Wesley, to all our audience, Wesley even did the training for School of Life, my practice team 2 years back. Of course, before all this COVID-19 pandemic, none of them want to go home. That's what I was told. Now they want to go home, they enjoy themselves so much. But Wesley, how is this different now? Because now people, like you said, they are trained over Zoom, over Google. Do they feel it, and do they get the impact as they are supposed to?
All right, so a disclaimer. So before this, my training was entirely offline. Prior to the lockdown, 100%. Let's call 100%. 100% my trainings are offline. So back then, when you say, "Oh, let's go and do a virtual selling," the client will say, "Wesley, are you okay?"
Yeah, definitely.
Unless if I do regional work where they can't travel. So what happened when MCO came? We all had to adapt. Trainers would definitely be the first person to adapt, because clients are clueless. They don't know what is Zoom. They have never heard of it before. They don't know how to use. They will always ask trainers, "Wesley, can you please tell me the more efficient way of running a training?" Now, over the months, I was very fortunate that if you ask me right now, Wesley, if given a choice, if everybody's fully vaccinated, which one will you choose? I will go for hybrid. Hybrid means what? If you ask me, right, virtual is good. Because why? When done right, virtual has the ability to access everybody everywhere. I could literally train people in Hong Kong, in India, in Sarawak, in Johor, in Penang, from the comfort of my home in KL. And they could also be actively involved. But Wesley, it's all Zoom fatigue. Now, it all depends on how you engage with them. I was very fortunate over a few engagement of mine. There are clients who have been through my face-to-face before and been through my virtual before. And they commented, "Wesley, you know what? I actually feel that virtual training is better." I'm like, "Oh my God, right? Why is it so?" Because one of the ways that we do in our training, the virtual setting, is because I have 20 to 30 people in that particular workshop, and I work with each and individual of them using technology. There are Google Sheets, there are breakout groups, there are so many platforms out there. I literally got everybody, okay, you know what? I'm going to share with you how to do a video. Everybody record a video, post in the group round right now. So everybody would have their own chance of doing things on that time. So it's a matter of how you engage with them. Now, in a physical class, I can get everybody to do, but I can't check on each and every one. Because some people can say they do, but actually they done shorter. Oh, okay, it's lunch break, then they go away, right? So now if you ask me, I really like virtual. And I really like virtual because ability of technology. They could submit tasks, assignment. I can track, I can monitor, I can get them to type, I can randomly call people's names. Now, if you ask me, it's equally as effective. The question is how? The main thing is engagement. You need to engage sales, especially salespeople, right? Salespeople are not known for the people who can sit the whole day in front of the laptop. They just couldn't. They just couldn't, right? Same goes to a sales trainer as well. So maximum hard for it to work with them. If you ask me, the key thing is to get them to engage, and salespeople will love it. If you engage, get them to participate, get them to do something. Get them to do the call on the spot, write it down, put a script, do role play, they love it. If you ask me, technology has a very good role in doing that. Because with the right technology, groups, Google Sheet, They could all do their own tasks from the comfort of their home while they could be waiting for their lunch on the spot, and they can get feedback from me the next minute. So if you ask me, engagement is key for virtual setting.
Before we go for a very, very, very short break, I just want to ask this very important question. How do the people that you train, I'm sure there are a lot of retaining companies, that you've trained them for many years and
Yep.
and you're still training them today. How are they accepting this at the moment? From asking Wesley asking you to go physical, and now they have no choice. In a way, I think they have no choice but to do the virtual at the moment. But how are these business owners, these top managements, are receiving this kind of changes in terms of training? Are they able to accept this, or they just have no choice? And have they commented to you whether does it work for their sales team?
All right. So for those of them who don't believe in the notion of sales, virtual training or online training, I guess that wouldn't be our that wouldn't be our right fit. So they wouldn't approach us. Even if we tell them, they will say, you know what, maybe you do a talk, and I'm not offered a sales training, right? As months go by in the lockdown, we notice there's a tremendous increase of people opening up for virtual training, because I think it's no longer an option. People have to equip their salespeople with virtual or remote selling skills. So the question is how? All right. So now, very vast majority, I have seen people are totally very receptive, and I go in there and say, hey, they are very well prepared for virtual training. They got the technology, internet is good, they are prepared to turn on their video, and they are super receptive. These are the people who are more trendy, younger audience people. Organizations are very adaptable, very flexible, and they groom them well in accepting virtual training. On the other perspective, Wesley, my people are first time attend virtual training, don't know how to do this, don't know how to do that. What we do is that we walk them through. The question is how, right? So we onboard them, we create groups to slowly make them open up. First half of the day, we introduce concept, get them to be adaptable, turn on the video, record some assignment, unmute your mic. I think it's the ability to make them part of your journey. It's like taking baby steps. Okay, adaptation, after that get to do something, then feedback, then a bigger role. So if you want to gamify it, is that when you play games, when you're level 1, it's all very fun, level 2, level 3, level 5, very easy to level, and they get addicted to it, right? In tune, engrossed in it. So what we do is that we slowly onboard them, and it doesn't always happen in the Zoom itself, because virtual training isn't just about Zoom, if you ask me. You could even send a survey before the training starts and ask them what are the challenges. You could record like a 30 seconds video to say, hey, my name is Wesley, I'm going to see you next week, and pleasure to meet you. It can be something like that. It can be even be opening a Facebook closed group. It can be sending up an email. It can be giving a PDF. It can be having a briefing with them. Many ways of doing it. It doesn't always happen on the Zoom itself. It's what you do before that creates the receptivity.
That's very, very detailed explanation, Wesley. Very, very well explained. And like I said, there are a lot of people who say that you need to adapt, you need to move forward, you need to keep reinventing, reimagine.
Right.
So we'll take a very short break and we'll come back after this. But after this, we're going to zoom in very detailed on each sales personnel, and then also what can companies, top leaders, top managements do to bring in a very conducive sales environment for the team. We'll take a short break and we'll be back.
All right, I'll see you shortly.
Okay. Chill for 20 seconds and
got break one. I didn't know got break one.
No. The idea just came. To be honest, the idea just came.
Yes, I also got break one. Okay so far.
Okay.
Okay, everything is
the
okay.
recording all okay?
Okay.
We just take a 20-second and then drink some coffee, and then after that we'll continue.
Okay, good to go.
Just whenever you guys are ready, boleh resume anytime.
Can.
Okay, just 10 seconds from now.
Alright.
Kejap. Nanti dah total as per recorded there, how long already?
As per recorded, tinggal 17 minutes.
Wow, it's so fast.
So fast, time flies. Right? Okay, let's
Because
start
we
in 5
will
seconds.
we will start around 3:45.
Okay,
Right.
so let's start in 5 seconds. You count down.
Alright. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to this podcast. Together with me today is Wesley Chan, a very good friend of mine, a sales breakthrough coach that I've known for many years. You know, as young as he is, he has been very successful. I've seen him grown over the past, I think I got to know him for almost 6 years down the road. A very brilliant young guy. He's here today to share with us, together with our BINA participants, the SME owners, our corporate partners, about this very important topic, sales breakthrough. And I think Wesley has shared so many good insights at the beginning, and now we are here to zoom in together to discuss about sales personnel, what it takes to be a super salesperson. So Wesley, welcome back. I hope you had a short, good break.
Yep.
And we will go on with our discussion on the sales personnel. So before we go so much about this sales breakthrough and things like that, it's something that I think if everybody can do it, it's fantastic, right? So now the question now here is, as a sales personnel myself, you know, what are some of the first steps, you know, like venturing into sales, right? And I am now applying for a job in sales. I may not have done it before.
Yep.
What are some of the steps that should be taken?
In being able to adapt into sales?
Correct, exactly. So I have no experience in sales. I don't know a lot of all this. I'm not been through trainings. You know, but I'm very interested to be. I am motivated to be a sales trader. Most probably people who are motivated because they feel that they can make more money, they can make commissions by doing sales. But again, that's back to my question. If they are a first timer in sales, what do you think is some of the things that they should do before they, you know, join a company or become a salesperson? Self training, or is there certain things that they should go through, certain modules that they should, and maybe some of the things that you have done as well?
Right.
Any recommendations for this new sales personnel?
All right. So I believe that the key pillars, the three key pillars of ensuring success in the sales are in the selling role. I'm talking about selling instead of the sales itself, right? So there are three main things very important. The mindset, skill set, and the structure. So the mindset, the skill, and the structure. So the mindset, if you ask me, the main key mindset right now in virtual selling is, of course, resilience. Whereby, because it's the ability to be resilient, to go through failures and objections, to go through rejections, and still have the aura, charisma to keep going on despite of all these challenges, right? So number one, I think the mindset of resilience is very important. And it's a word that we've all heard of this before, right? And if you ask me, resilience is only tested when you face challenges, right? So, and it's an inner narrative of what you tell yourself. I got this one saying, when challenges come, rejections, objections come to you, instead of saying, why me, reframe to, what is this trying to teach me? So if you ask me, a successful salesperson have the ability to be resilient is because he don't just look at failing, he look at feedback. He look at what he could learn from that experience so that he can move on over time. So hence, number one, mindset of resilience. Number two, the second thing is skill set. Now, if you ask me, skill set is about the ability to be relational. Relational means what? So there are two extremes. One is called tactical, one is called relational. Tactical means high pressure selling tactics, closing the sales, and you want to ask close-ended question, you want to buy or don't want to buy. So you're very tactical, no long-term relationship. Now, if you ask me remote selling, virtual selling, the key element is because you're using technology, you have the ability to follow up. So hence, being relational would help a lot. What do you mean by relational, Wesley? The ability to build relationship. The ability to be human and connect with another person in front of you. Building rapport, establish relationship, engaging with them, sending them well wishes, sending information. The ability to build healthy relationship over time. So that's called skill set of relational. Third one is called structure. Structure means what? So like you asked me a very good question. If I want to go into sales, what structure do I know? Now in selling itself, right? So, and these are called like, some people call sales pipeline, some people say called the selling strategies or the selling cycle, right? The sales cycle. So of course, you get the leads. After you get the leads, you approach them, then you become the prospect, you do a call, you present to them, you convert them, become customer, you convert again, they repeat sale, they become client continue serving them, they become your advocates. So it's the ability to go through this sales cycle one after another and to be clear of the structure and the process. It could be lead generation, getting leads. After that, you want to do ads, you want to approach them, call them, do a call, then you do your video to engage them, then you do a sales presentation, then you close them, you negotiate, then you handle your key account. After that, you take good care of them, take their feedback, and you continue growing that. So the structure of moving from one end to the other end of sales, from a lead all the way to become your advocate, your biggest fan. So, wow, Wesley, a lot of things, right? Okay, go and learn through sales cycle. Get used to sales cycle so you can move one after another. Selling cycle, sales cycle, from a lead all the way to become your customer. So go and get familiar with that.
That's very, very, very interesting that they have to go through certain process, to equip themselves.
Yep.
But I think I have a very short question. Be it tactical or relational, right? Like you mentioned, the two ways of actually doing this. I don't think there is a right or wrong method, right?
Yep. There's no right or wrong,
depend-
depending on the product that you sell, depending on your nature. So for example, if you are running a low ticket item, for example, if you are selling stationeries, or if you're selling just a pen, which is like ringgit, you don't have to continuously build relationship. You want it or you don't want it lah. But if you ask me, you can be tactical in the closing, but you if possible, you maintain the relationship so that people continuously buy from you. So tactical and relational both are effective. If you ask me, a mix of both blend would be good.
Hello.
Very good.
Fana,
I think
you tak
again,
boleh buat
there's
ke?
no right and wrong, right? I think to the bosses is as long as you close the sales, I don't
Yep.
care how you do it. I think there's most probably
Oh,
the
okay.
the
Then
bonus.
you buat lah
But I
because
really
after
want to
this
ask you
I
this
ada
question, right? What do you think
matters.
about language barriers in terms of sales?
Sebab
People
benda
who
tu
are
pukul
really
5
passionate,
kan?
they want to do sales,
You
but they
punya
have
lawyer
problems with
sampai pukul 5
language,
ke?
language barrier. But they may not be as young as they are anymore,
Oh,
to actually learn. I'm sure you have trained people who are like this, right? Who most probably they don't
Boleh.
understand, they have
Nanti
vocabulary,
anyone will reply
they really
including
can
like Mirza.
present, but
Sebab and then
they just have
you
this
cakap
language barrier.
and then you ada
So
reply Madeline tak?
how do you see this?
Now
Oh,
we are in a
okay.
very
Sebab-
interesting country lah. It's multicultural, where
Yeah.
we can speak English, BM, Chinese, or Tamil, right? Or even local languages, like some of them speak Iban, Duzun, Kadazan. Because so many Terengganu, Kelantan, Penang, so many languages, right? Language is not the only key,
Bukan, sebab-
because as much as when you communicate, right, your tonality,
sebab-
your gesture is all very important. When it comes to
Sebab I don't
virtual,
know if she's
there is
going to
also the
report in next
connectivity
week ke tak,
issue,
tahu tak?
your slides that you use. Now, language is not the main determining factor.
So in
Alright.
a way, I don't
If you
know if
ask
she's
me,
in or she's
if you
out.
could speak BM in Malaysia, you
If
could
you get what
literally
I
converse to
mean.
a lot of people. English itself, you can speak basic English is good enough. You don't have to speak perfect English. Now, a research has actually proven, coming to speaking English, we all speak at a Form 2 English level.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Really?
So I don't
Speak
know
at
because
Form 2
kalau
English level. If you speak like a professor,
is
you will sound
terminated,
intelligent, but you may not get people's relationship, right? You
then
may not be able to feel and connect.
why
So
would
if you
I
ask
wanna
me,
give you the
it could
passwords?
either be a
Because
self-sabotage
passwords,
that you say you're not good enough.
I'm a
If you
bit,
ask me
like,
if you can speak
critical
layman
when it comes to
English,
password,
layman BM,
especially
it's already
about,
good
like,
enough. The
private
next thing is make sure that
security.
you don't sabotage yourself. It
So
doesn't
that's
think you're
why.
not good enough. Now, if you are, Wesley, let's admit
since
lah,
you dah
my
cakap dia
England
tak-
really
dia tak
not good, my
dapat
English really
any
not good,
further,
my
tengok
BM
kenapa.
really quite
Because,
broken
like,
lah.
I
I need to
cakap kat
present to
dia,
people of a certain level.
benda
So
yang
how,
I dah
right?
minta,
Then
yang dah
comes your two
berzaman, dia
important
baru
part,
nak
your
update I
tonality
now.
and your gestures.
And then I'm
Because
like,
that would somehow
your
help you to
priority
balance back
sekarang is
the
Shopee.
effectiveness of your words. So again, every single
So
time when
I
you
was
communicate, there are three
expecting to
important
hear
points.
updates on
Verbal,
Shopee,
your choice of words, which is your
macam
language.
the
Tonality, which is
future,
vocal. How
quote
excited
kan.
you are, how sound, fast, slow you are.
So I'm
and
like,
your visual, which is your body language and your
I'm
slides.
like
So if let's say a disadvantage comes in your language,
confused. But tak
so you need
apalah,
to emphasize
nanti
using your tone and also your visuals,
anything
your
you
slides, your
just
body language, at
liaise
least you can
dengan
balance it out.
Alvina
So
lah.
if you ask me, not a big
Sebab
issue.
nanti dia yang buat the final decision.
That's
So
very, 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 very good explanation. I think a lot of
Okay.
people
Just
sometimes
update
get
kat group je.
demotivated
Thank you.
themselves. I
Bye.
think you said something very good. Not to not to demotivate yourself.
Yep,
Be
yep.
confident, the tonality of it. So let's go back on that. That is to be some skills that we are looking at, right? So
Yep.
you mentioned about before that. Just move backwards. You mentioned a bit about resilience and mindset,
Yep.
right? So I think at this difficult period of time, mindset is very important. I think.
Yep.
But I think by the time I'm speaking to you now, we are almost 500 days. For almost 500 days from the first MCO.
Seriously.
And I remember before that, I spoke to you. I said that let's go through this together. And that time, I think I'm still rounder. We're definitely saying that let's go through this. But by the time I'm talking to you now, it's almost 500 days.
Oh my
Right?
God, right.
So yes, exactly. I want you to share this, Wesley, resilience mindset.
Yeah.
Specifically, what is this? And specifically, what are some of the points that you want to share with our sales personnel about having this, how to cultivate this kind of mindset?
The main golden principle is this: life is 10% what happened to us and 90% how you respond. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% on how you respond. All right. As much as you want to change the market and change the world, now don't overly emphasize on changing people. I think it's good to ask ourselves, how can I adapt and change? It's not about them, it's about us. How do we change the way we communicate? How do we change the way we talk? And how do we change the way we sell? How do we change the way we talk to them, right? So it's all about us. It's all about us, right? So coming to the notion, the next golden principle to share: change requires repetition. Change requires repetition. It's the ability to keep doing again and again and again and again and again, because practice makes permanent. Practice makes permanent. The more you do, the better you become. The more you do, you achieve mastery. All right. The more you do, you become smooth. You become very second nature and unconscious. So the ability of a salesperson to equip themselves and to improve themselves, it depends on how they repeat, because change requires repetition. Now, and for you to repeat, what do you need? Perseverance, keep going on, never give up. Hence, resilience. That's why when we are resilient, we have the capacity to keep going whether you like it or not. You stick to your commitment and you keep doing that, whether you close sales or you don't close sales, you just go jalan. You just keep doing that. Because what? Once you repeat, you become good at it. Then the next question is this, Wesley: how do I gain that kind of resilience? Now, the third golden principle is this: there is no failure, there's only feedback. There's no failure, there's only feedback. Now means what? Now, please don't trope stamp, tell ourselves, you know what, I failed before, therefore I'm not good in sales. I think that's a very quick conclusion to give to yourself. If you ask me, when things don't work out well for you, it's a feedback. Means what? If you have done a mistake, it's a mistake. Just do a retake. Doesn't work, it's okay, do a retake. Doesn't work, it's okay, do a retake. If it works, repeat. If it works, repeat. So it's the ability of the salesperson to repeatedly, because change requires repetition, the more you change, the better it becomes, so that we change the way we respond, we take care of 90%, so that we influence the 10% of what happened to us. So resilience is all about keep moving on in very layman. Just go and do it. You like it or not, happy or not, go and do your sales, go and do your call. Not happy, also have to present. Happy, also have to present. Just keep going on.
Just like you and me, we are going on, moving forward every day. Once we open our eyes, we move forward.
Yeah.
Just one last question before we go to the business owners, in terms of the eyes of the business owners.
Yeah.
Also to the benefit of people who may have known you or who have not known you. If I'm a sales personnel, okay,
Yep.
I'm new or I'm not new, it doesn't matter. Do you train individuals or do you just train corporates? Do you have sessions for individuals?
I used to have. I used to have this. As of now, I don't have. I mainly work with corporates. But who knows, right? When the time comes, probably there's opportunity we can explore. Yeah.
All right, maybe later on you can share, towards the end, some of the programs that you've done before, some of the trainings that you can recommend to our audience here.
Definitely.
If you are an individual sales personnel, you want to upgrade yourself, you want to learn more. I think Wesley has done a few certification programs as well. Please, by all means, we'll let Wesley share towards the end of the session. So Wesley, I think I just only have one or two, three more questions about in the eyes of business owners, right? In the eyes of, be it from corporate or be it from SMEs or be it from micro businesses. So I'm a business owner myself. I'm struggling because this is the time where people talk about sales. Including School of Life. Every day the first group of people that will be coming to see me is the sales and the business development team, right? So what are of course, this is a difficult time. Pandemic challenges, people shut down, they close, right? So what are some of things that they can do with coaches and breakthrough trainers like you? What can they do with you in order for them to move forward, like you said, resilience, moving forward, do better with the team? What can business owners do?
All right. So now, interesting enough. So this is like I often get asked this question, when I was approached by sales manager, sales director, business owner, HR people, and say, hey, Wesley, I want you to come and train our sales team. And they always come up with the same conclusion: help us close sales. It has always been, because sales are about numbers and results, right? So then I'd like to ask them this question, right? Sales, of course, we want to close the sales, but do you have a process of closing the sales? Of course, we do have, right? We do presentation and things like that. Then I ask them, do you have a process for remote selling? Then some of them struggle to answer, right? So one of the things that I follow, one of the things I share with all my clients is a concept called the heat of conversion. So it sounds like a heat, right? You're cooking something. Exactly. So this was inspired because as much as like a food, when you want to cook food, right, a frozen food, you need to defreeze, heat, warm, and grill, and then you deep fry, right? So very similarly, like a prospect and the lead, right? I think when you meet a prospect, give an inquiry, of course you're going to close the sales, but what are the processes involved? So in the sales breakthrough context, if I can run through this with you, hope you could see this in my screen.
Yes.
Right. So now in a process, before I look at whether it's closed or not closed, I think let's have a look at this manner. Instead of just thinking close or not close, ask ourselves at which stage is our prospect at right now. Because if I know he's at level 1 or level 2, I would use a specific strategy for them. Okay, so let's have a look at this. I believe these are the 5 stages. This is what I train. Don't know you, trust you, choose you, buy from you. Now, for me to move up the pyramid, up the relationship, what happens is that you're going to move them one over to the other. And there are different strategies that we can use so that we can move one over to the other, as if you're going to cook a food, right? So from an L1 to L2, when you talk to somebody, cold leads who don't know who you are, the first thing that as a fellow salesperson, what you need to work on is to first get the response from the person, right? I call the response strategy. You want to get the response. In a way, let's look at ourselves. Business owners, salespeople, we all have database, we all have leads, people you present before, your hot contacts, your warm contact, your cold contact, email that you had last time, you all have database. Step number 1, what you can do is reach out to all of them and establish better connection. From a response strategy, the only purpose is to capture the mind share. It could be drop them a text, wish people stay safe. It could be Independence Day, Happy Chinese New Year, Deepawali Watuka, Hari Raya Haji is coming, drop them a message and to establish better connection. Because in virtual selling, mind share comes before market share. All right? Ability to capture mind share. So once people know who you are, they recognize, oh, I remember you, Wesley. From an L2 to L3, the next step is you want to be able to provide value. Now, value means what? Another cliche term in sales. If you ask me, value is to provide solution to your customer's problem. Full stop. All right? Provide information, tips, strategies, benefit, reasons, FAQ, common mistakes, product demonstration, walkthrough. Give them some tips to help them solve their issues right now as per your product. For example, I'm in the space of sales training. I could share articles, videos about motivation for them and their team. So the more they consume my material, what happens is this. They would then realize my credibility, my experience, and hence as a result, L3, trust is cultivated. Wesley, what is the video? I do nobody watch. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? Most people are silent viewers. And another hard fact to tell you, sometimes you well prepared your video, you go TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you do your show. Most people don't finish watching.
True.
Which is entirely fine. You want to be perceived in the eyes of the customers that you provide value. Now, once they trust you, L3 to L4, now you pick up the call, you get the number, you get the leads, and you arrange for the presentation. The main purpose, do your pitch. Do your pitch to show that you're unique. You're not like any other providers, any other product training, any other providers out there, solution product that you sell. You want to show your uniqueness, you are different, you're backed up by case studies and social proof. Once people think that not bad, you are quite different, I want to choose you. But what would get from L4 to L5 is called commit. Commit means what? Negotiation. This one, I like your product, but can you give me a bit discount? I mean, it doesn't always be price, to be honest. Because there are many ways you can negotiate. It can be payment term, something else to give, take, receive. There are many ways of doing that, and money is just one part of the negotiation. So if you ask me, so back to the question you asked me, instead of looking sales whether I close or not, ask ourselves, at which stage is our customer at, so that we as fellow salespeople, to change our 90% of how we respond. If they're L1, I use respond. If they're L2, I use realize. If they're L3, I use convince. If they're L4, I use commit. One step at a time to move up to the conversion cycle.
I think this is very important because you need to identify where you are to put in the right strategy, to go from L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. Because I personally also learned this from Wesley many years ago. Wesley, whenever you do training, sometimes it's very important. You need to build the trust, among these people before they will actually put in their dollars and cents in your company. And that's what School of Life have been doing for many years. And that's why we retain our clients and they need to trust you. They need to trust that you can deliver, right?
Yep.
But before we, that's the part which I think you have shared very interesting. Right? I've seen your profile, and I don't want to, say it on my from me. I want you to, share it with other people. How many people that you have trained? How many countries? I know you love, going around. Last time doing physical trainings, and it doesn't matter, physical or virtual. How many companies? How many people have you trained so far?
So over the past 10 years, I have trained more than 150,000 people in more than 150 organizations across 20 cities.
Perfect.
So yeah, I managed to just have a very quick glance of my profile, and these are just some of the companies I'm very fortunate to have trained over the years. Some are in this region in Asia, some are in Malaysia, some in Singapore, some in Hong Kong. So these are the companies that I've worked very closely with. And I think at this point of time, one thing that I've learned is that having a lot of partners and clients are good. So I think now it's all about helping client get the results they want. So I was very happy to gather a lot of logo, and I'm still very happy doing that. Now,
Sure.
Another satisfaction of us doing right now is to really help transform organization salespeople. Where if I get on a longer term, 6 months, 1 year with a company, and I really hadn't grown the results, to me that is utmost satisfaction.
That's very well done. You see, this young chap here, I've known him again, like I said, for many years. Let's see how he grown from there. All these big companies that has been trusting Wesley in his training. Just one last formal question, Wesley. I'm not going to go with all this, what companies should do and this and that. Because like there's always a saying, right? We improve by knowing done wrong. We improve by seeing back our history. Maybe you can share with us what are some of the common mistakes or common challenges that has actually stopped or actually have made companies not being able to progress in terms of sales breakthrough. What are some of the common things that you've seen, or problems, or anything that you have seen so far over your experience?
All right, the three main challenges. Number one is the ability to cope with word selling. It's because of resistance. I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm not equipped with that. So they can't cope with virtual selling because of internal factor. Number two is also depending on the direction of the organization. What do they really want to offer? All right. So these are the two things. The third one I would say it's people's fatigue. People are just exhausted. People are just emotionally drained. So these are the three common issues. And hence, out of these three common issues, right, I have three things I normally tell people. For business owners watching out there, three things that we got to bear in mind that no matter what happens. Number one, reframe the word pandemic into a cycle of business. Now, one of the things that scare people to death, it's a pandemic. The word itself is already negative.
Understood.
I think let's reframe the word pandemic to a cycle of business. What do you mean, Wesley? It's a cycle of business. It's another cycle of business. There are good times, there are bad times, there are up times, there are down time, right? Reframe the pandemic, let's look at this as another cycle of business. Means what? Customer changing, market is changing, hence we, the one delivering the offer, must change. Brings to point number two. Change to what? Go and validate with your market. Be close to the heartbeat of the market. Really have to go and check with your market. Okay, market changing. Is it affordability? Do they want longer, shorter, expensive, cheaper product? I don't know, right? Go and check with your customers, check with your raving fans, check with your partners, associates, your best customer, and check the three things. What are they currently facing? What problems they have, and what they want to know. Current pain gate. From there, you come back to the drawing board to adapt your product and services. Number three, once you develop your prototype, your feedback, once you know what to do. Number three, sprint ahead. Why is it so? During this time, stick your customers. If you are with your customers during rough time, they will be with you after the tough time. So now is not the time to be status quo. Go and sprint all out. If you ask me, increase our activity in sales, talk to more people, reach out, sell. If it doesn't work, change. If it works, you repeat. So three things: reframe pandemic, validate with the market. Number three, sprint.
very well 3 points to end today's podcast. And I look forward to speak to you more, Wesley. But of course, with our time in terms of podcast, and we have to keep some of the good things, to let people and let them explore and to let them talk to you, to let them explore with you. I believe you customize trainings for corporates as well, for companies as well.
Yep.
Wesley, before we end this, how do people get to you? How will people connect with you? How do they connect to you?
All right, so there are two categories of people which I want to divide. Number one, if you are from a business, be it SME or from the corporate. Now, if you think that whatever resonates with you and you want to explore considering crafting a solution to your selling needs, you can speak to me. And now I don't do so much off the show. I have programs, but I always want to listen to you because especially right now, it comes to remote selling, different industries, product, nature, your company would need different intervention. So come and to us and we'll definitely be very, very happy to arrange a consultation or hence a discussion with you so we can see how we can customize a solution for you. Number two, if you're an individual and you think, you know what, Wesley, I want to equip myself, I want to learn some specific skill set based on what you mentioned, right? We do have program for individuals as of now. We run certification program for NLP, focusing on the mindset. All right, for those of you here, you want to equip yourself to be more resilient, to enhance yourself in influencing, negotiation, talking to people, your motivation, your clarity. You want to disarm, remove your self-limiting habits. You want to be more confident, persuasive, be better in the words that you talk. Come and speak to me. We do have NLP program, neuro-linguistic programming, to help you to be better version of yourself in your interpersonal and your personal mastery. So we regularly have class, and our next class is in September. We just finished our class in July. And so if you think this resonates to you, more happy to connect with me. I'm available in LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and you can look out for me, Wesley Chan. LinkedIn is Wesley Chan Sales Breakthrough Coach. Instagram is _Wesley Chan. Facebook is Wesley Chan.
Thank you so much for the very, very nice closing. And we will put all these links into our YouTube comment when it's up on the podcast. Click the link, connect with Wesley Chan. If you are from any corporate, any companies that you need sales breakthrough trainer in your organization, speak to Wesley. He's the right guy that will be able to help you. So one last thing, final advice. Any words for our business owner out there, sales personnel out there? At this point of day, we are almost 500 days to our, be it, I don't know how many MCOs that we have been through.
Right.
To close this podcast, what are some of your words for them?
So for those of you, if you find value in this podcast and you think that your time is well spent, I want to thank you and appreciate all your time. Now, whatever I share is just a small bit of sales and marketing. There are many parts of it. So some talk about fundamentals, some talk about funding, CRM, and all those technology stuff, right? Whatever I share is just a small bit of it. But for those of you here, if extra value and you want more assistance or help, right? Check out the BINA program. Check out the BINA program, and this is a program that I think that you really shouldn't miss. It's got great value, got different partners coming in, and these are not just people who come and provide information. They will tell you where to look for the information. They will provide you the help itself. Check out the BINA program. Look for when are the events. Go and join it. I'm sure you're going to get massive value. You won't just get information. You will also get the solution with them. If you want to have any crafting solution, you can check out with Lawrence and the team. I'm sure they will provide a very good help. Or if they can't, they will channel to the right people to you. So my advice is feel free to seek out for help and solution. Speak to any one of us if you think that it resonates with you, and we're more than happy to welcome you.
Thank you so much, Wesley. I think we will be signing off today, and I think we have spent a very good evening together speaking about sales breakthrough. I think both you and I, we wish all these businesses the best. I wish you all the best, Wesley. I think definitely you will do very well in years to come. So to all our audience there, click our YouTube comment. You will see all the necessary information there, and hopefully that we will be able to connect soon. So with that, I'll end this podcast today. Wesley, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. See you.